Hi, this is Bill Waldman with Keller Williams Real Estate. I am the broker of record for the office and also team leader of the William Waldman team. I am going to be doing a series of podcasts and snippets with my colleagues here, Rich Sparling and Lucas DeBarros. And we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves. And as we build through the series, we're going to talk about different topics that maybe you might be interested in. And as we go along and you want to ask for other topics, feel free to reach out. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Again, I'm broker record for this Keller Williams real estate office in Montgomeryville, PA. I'm a broker here for over 7.5 years. I've been in the business for 11. Not only do I help people sell real estate, I also help investors buy properties and sell properties. And I'm also an investor myself. Been doing investing for probably 12 or 13 years. So I've enjoyed it, and I enjoy helping other folks try to do the same thing. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to ask some of my colleagues, about what they like about real estate, and tell them a little bit about themselves and why they got in the business. We'll start off with you, Rich.
All right, sounds good. My path to real estate is interesting. I started from being a faculty member at a Bible college to an athletic director at a Christian school to being a missionary in the Dominican Republic, then the chaplain of the Philadelphia Phillies, pastoring a church. And when it was time to turn over to new leadership at that church, just trying to figure out next steps. I had started a sports program called Toward Sports Ministry and wanting something that would help pay the bills and give flexibility enough to keep doing that. And at that time, a friend of mine was the realtor for my daughter's house purchase, and he's a little older than I am. And I thought, you know what? Age probably doesn't matter as much in real estate. Being older might even be an advantage. So went in that direction because it was still a way that I could do a different type of ministry, and that's being God's hands and feet by helping people find a place to live and sell their house. So I think that's probably what I like the most about it. I love people. I like helping them out, and it's a real exciting thing when they finally get their house.
Excellent. So what is one of the most memorable experiences you had as an agent so far?
Besides meeting you?
Don't go lie here, Rich. It's okay.
No, it's the experience with the client.
Oh, man. So I've been doing this for 6 years. I got quite a few clients that we've been able to help find a house, buy a house, sell a house. It's more seeing the excitement on their face when they get the keys and sign all the paperwork and head to their house.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think probably Tony and Christy, that was a fun one. He's a police officer from Philadelphia. Moved up to this area. He and I hit it off really, really well. Then after we signed the agreement on their house, then they invited me over for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Developing those relationships, that's probably the most enjoyable part of it.
I'll agree with you on that part, is the relationship building aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
And helping people out. It's like the other day I pulled out a letter that was written to me from one of my past clients, and I recently posted about that, and they contacted me like, "Yeah, that was great. We loved working with you," and
That's great.
And it was funny because other people chimed in like, "Yeah, he was great to work with as well," and so. The relationship aspect is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And some of the great people that I've met over the years.
Yeah, I don't think I've had a bad experience.
There's always one.
There have been some that have been more of a challenge, but I wouldn't say that they were bad experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But helping people out, I think that's the big thing.
It really is.
So. All right, Lucas, you're up. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you got into real estate.
All right. Well, my path isn't as long of an experience as Rich's, but it's been a pretty similar journey. I felt like everything has led up to real estate since this point. For the most part, my first job was at a supermarket, and I only lasted there for about 3 months, I think, before I went to go work for Staples as an Easy Tech associate. And there we sold printers. Then I went from selling printers at Staples to selling phones at T-Mobile. And I've been at T-Mobile the last 6 years, I think, selling phones.
And you did really well there.
I did do really well, yes. I got Winner Circle a few times, which is like top 5%, if I'm not mistaken, in the nation. It's either top 5 or top 3. But I've gotten it a couple times. But sales has always been, I feel like, in my blood. And real estate was something that I kind of thought about since the age of 18, 19. And it's something that I want to touch base on what Rich said. The age thing, it does play a factor. Thinking back on it now, I could have definitely started back when I was 18 or 19, but it's certain roadblocks that held me back. Thought processes like, will people trust a 19-year-old to handle the sale of their home? It's a large amount of money that you're discussing. Are people going to take you seriously when you're in that field? And I think my sales jobs over the years have added up to my confidence and my ability to be able to communicate and talk with people. So when I transitioned into real estate, it was a pretty smooth transition because the conversations that I have with my clients are conversations that I have with now family members and friends. So rather than someone who's walking randomly through the door, I'm having a conversation with someone I know and care about how to make their real estate investment portfolio pop, or how to get their savings account started by building equity in a home, and so on. But everything that I've done up until this point, to summarize, has led to sales, and I like this job because it allows me to represent the people I want to represent while doing those sales. So I'm giving them the most of the value that I add and all the products and services that I offer with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus you get to hang out with me.
There you go.
A little plus, yeah, sometimes.
Absolutely.
Though when you think, though, most of your friends are probably in that age bracket where they're looking to buy houses.
That's what I'm saying. And a lot of them don't understand that they can get into those homes as well. So,
Yeah.
I'm working with the one friend now who will hopefully get into a home for under $3,000 or $4,000. We have him under contract. But it's a matter of, a lot of people don't know that getting into a home is feasible.
Right.
They think it's something impossible, and having those conversations with my friends and families, letting them know it is possible, and then taking them through those steps would really lighten my day.
That's good. Because most of my friends are looking to get into a different type of a home.
Elderly home?
Yeah.
Fair enough. To me, I think you learn to love other things along the way, and it confirms why you're doing these things for these people. Like connecting people with their dream homes or places where they're going to live for possibly the rest of their lives or the next 5 to 10 years. That's a big step for someone to trust you with. And it's like when you put that offer through, not even when they're at the settlement table, like it's just the whole process from start to finish. When you get to call them and tell them, hey, your offer's been accepted, and you hear that gasp and that joy that comes from them, I think that's like what really solidified, wow, I really like doing this. And I just get to apply the skills that I've been building over the last 5 to 10 years and applying it to the people that I care about.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you?
What is it that fulfills me, or?
No, what got you into real estate?
That exciting moment too.
So for me, I started investing in real estate, and my ex-wife and I were looking at buying homes and whatnot, and when we started doing that, I got a little bit more into it. And then my real estate agent, she said to me, she says, oh, you'd be such a good real estate agent. And I'm like, oh, you're crazy. I don't want to be a real estate agent. Working pharmaceuticals. Why would I want to make that transition? But when I found myself needing to transition at that point in time, I decided, you know what, maybe I'll make the changes. I spoke to my ex-wife about it, and she was like, do it when you're 40 rather than when you're 50. And so I did. So here I am 11 years later, and
Broker Bill.
Yeah, so there I am.
No longer an agent, broker now.
Yeah. So it's definitely a fun experience. There's a lot of different things that go with a real estate transaction that I obviously become more intimately involved, just not with my own transactions or you guys' transactions, but the entire brokerage. And so I've had a lot of learning experiences through others. So, it's fun.
Can only imagine.
But Lucas, you brought up an interesting topic, and that specific topic was about, how much money somebody might need to be able to buy a home.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, so what are some of the scenarios that you've run across? By the means, folks, this is not the only way to do it. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but, what might have been one or two ways that people are doing, especially with somebody that's, in their early 20s, may not have a lot of money saved up.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing that a lot of people who I've been working with and a lot of my friends don't understand is there's a bunch of different ways to lower your out-of-pocket costs. It comes down to what you're focused on. Some of my friends are comfortable with the out-of-pocket costs. They've saved up for 5-10% down or whatever the case, but they don't want a crazy high monthly payment. Other people are okay with $1,500 to $2,000 a month, but they can't put $10,000 to $15,000 out of pocket. The happy medium I found is, granted, you're not going to be looking at an $800,000 property and hoping to get into it for pennies on the dollar, but if you're looking for something in your range, FHA loans, seller assist, those are just two of the main things that I've been working with currently. So with FHA loans, I have a lender who I've been working with now. He can usually tend to get people about 5% of the sale price of the home towards an FHA grant. Now what an FHA grant will do is that will allow the buyers to lower their closing costs. So let's say you're supposed to come $20,000 to $25,000 out of pocket after maybe 3% down payment and all your closing costs and transfer title and all that. That FHA loan will knock off $10,000 to $15,000 from that. Now you're down to $10,000, and then at that point, if it's a matter of you still can't come up with the $10,000, another thing that I work through with my friend that I'm working with right now is seller's assist. So, I mean, granted, not every offer is going to get accepted with a seller assist. That's where it comes down to, as an agent, communicating on behalf of your client with the other agent to try and get a deal done or worked out. But at the end of the day, it's a matter of shooting out an offer that you're comfortable with. If we can't get it done, worst case scenario, we move on and we find a property that does fit. But if it does fit and we make the deal work, now you got into a property that you never thought you would have got into for maybe $2,000-$3,000 out of pocket, and the same monthly payment you'd be paying for rent.
Now, is that a case? No, Rich, you should probably be able to answer this. Is that a situation that we see all the time?
No, not all the time.
No, but it does happen.
It does happen. There are other options too. Some of the counties offer grants to help, and it's behind as a second mortgage. You don't make any payments on it, and for every year that you're there, you reduce it. So if it's a $10,000 grant, every year it gets reduced, and if you stay there for 10 years, you don't owe anything at the end of the 10 years if you sell. If you sell it after 5 years, you owe $5,000 back to the county. Counties do that. Montgomery County, Philadelphia County, Bucks County, they all do that. There are also banks. I know that PNC, I'm working with one of their loan officers, and they also has a bank offer grant. And that's not one that you have to pay back. It's a grant to help with closing costs, and they also offer reduced mortgage. What is it? The fee for getting the mortgage. They reduce
Mortgage origination fee.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks. They get a reduction in that. So there are some other things that can be helpful. And what most people get caught with is that the cost of closing. That they're paying 1% of the transfer tax. They're paying for taxes. They have to reimburse. They're paying certain fees, and that's what catches a lot of people off guard. They know that they're doing a 3% or 3.5% down payment, but what? I got to come up with another $20,000 for closing costs.
So closing costs are typically between 3% and 5%. So on top of whatever your down payment is. So, now, with that said, I mean, these are just some of the ways that our team uses to help buyers be able to purchase a home. And it depends on the time of year. It depends on what programs some of the lenders are offering. But you should give us a call and see what we can do to help you out, because maybe we can connect you with a lender or a program that can get you to where you want to be. And it's better than paying, $2,000, $2,500 to somebody who's paying their mortgage versus you paying $2,000 to $2,500 towards your own mortgage and building equity.
And that's the conversation that I've been having with a lot of people is, I mean, if you think about it, when you're moving into a rental property, you're paying first, maybe last month's rent on top of that, as well as security deposit. So you're looking at about almost $3,000, maybe more, depending on how valued the property is, out of pocket alone. And then you're looking at, like, at least in this area, Montgomeryville, I mean, you're looking at 2 bedrooms, 2 baths for like $2,500 right now. It's like, why would you pay that in rent when you could pay maybe even less than that on your mortgage and pay less out of pocket? So you're literally saving on both ends, but rather than paying someone else's saving account, you're paying your own and building equity into a real estate portfolio that you have.
Excellent. Yeah, that's been the years. Over the years, I've definitely seen that. I've been able to come up with some creative options. The market's been a little crazy over the last 3 to 4 years, but you never know. Hopefully the market changes a little bit and loosens things up for buyers so that they can get into houses a little bit easier. But you never know. And the only way you know is if you contact one of us.
Yeah.
And we could sit down and have a conversation with you.
And we are here to help.
Yeah.
We're here to help.
Yep.
We come in all shapes, sizes, and ages. All right?
True.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you on our next podcast. Hopefully we'll see you next on our next podcast and Snippet. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
See you guys next time.